So I just want to thank everybody for coming, and especially thank Heiko and Sandra for coming all the way from Germany, and for bringing your wonderful bikes here. You know, we've been begging you for years, as you know, and
that's right.
We've finally obliged, and it's been off to a great success, and it's just it's excellent to have you guys here, and you know it. And I think we're thinking maybe you can kind of just tell a little bit of the history of how you guys started, and you know what it's been like, and what you see as the future of Riese Müller. And just as some of you may not know, this is Heiko Müller, the co-founder of. He's the second half of Riese Müller. So and we're very excited to have him, and yeah, thanks so much.
Sweet. Heiko.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. Actually, Chris is the one who brought our brand to America in a kind of, because I think about 1 year ago, Chris tried to contact us for I think 2 or 3 times, again and again, and he said, "Oh, I want to buy your bikes." And we thought, oh, we are not that far to export our bikes to the US. And he was pushing us. And Chris is really the reason why we booked a booth on the Eurobike show last year. And yeah, and then we thought, okay, we just go there and we look what happens. And when we came there, the funny thing was that a lot of dealers came to our booth on the first day, and they just said, "Oh, we are watching you for so many years, and we are so glad that you are here now." And we thought, "Hey, what's going on here?" And then I understood that that the electric bike in the US is much more far than I expected it. You have nice shops here, like this one, which is actually one of the nicest e-bike shops in the USA, and so many people who really love the e-bike and pushing the e-bike, and this was not what we expected, to be honest. So yeah, we found a dealer network of 10 to 12 dealers quite quickly, and we are really happy to be part of this new mobility in the US, to have e-bikes here.
Yeah.
So
awesome.
Yeah, where we are coming from, actually, our first product was the Birdy. This is actually the start of our history, and this goes back to 1993, which means 24 years ago. Actually, I was studying mechanical engineering in Darmstadt. This is a little town in Germany, and my friend was Markus Riese, actually, and we were both studying together, and we loved bicycles. We did bicycle races, bicycle tours. We were always optimizing our bicycles and so on. And on one day, Markus came with a kind of suitcase, and then I said, "Markus, what are you doing with this suitcase?" And then he opened the suitcase, and there was actually a prototype of the Birdy in this suitcase, but it was made out of carton box, you know, just a carton box. But the principle was exactly what it is now. It had a rear swing arm which could be folded, a front swing arm. I will show you in a minute. And yeah, it was just, the principle was exactly like on the Birdy, which we are selling now for more than 20 years.
Wow.
And then I thought, oh, that looks interesting. Let's do a prototype. And then we were just welding the first prototypes out of old bicycle frames, which we just have in our garage. And and we thought that's really a nice concept to have a full suspension, folding bike. I can show you. We have a front suspension and a rear suspension. And the special thing on the Birdy is that we use these pivot points of the suspension for the folding process. So you can fold the Birdy around these pivots, and and really have a very small bike which you
Wow.
can take with you. You can put it in the car, in the train, wherever you want to. And yeah, and then we just built the first prototypes, and then there was the application for innovation prize.
Wow.
In Germany, and we thought, oh, that's a nice thing for an innovation prize, and then we just made a really nice prototype, looking much better than the first prototypes we just did for some testing. We made some pictures, we took some pictures, and we applied for that innovation prize, and actually in the end we won a special prize, not the regular prize, but these guys, they saw that our company or our project is really the beginning, so it was actually we didn't really want this prize, but they made a special prize for our project, and with this prize in our bag, we decided, well, this is something we have to show to the public, and this was in 1993. And in the same year, our studies at the university have been finished, and we thought, okay, what should we do? Should we go to the car industry, to Mercedes or to BMW as a mechanical engineer, or should we follow our heart and do something with bicycles? This was our decision, and then we thought, okay, let's just try it, because I mean we had nothing to lose. We've been young, 25 years old, so we thought, what should happen? We just try to found our own company and to sell these bicycles.
Cool.
And well, this was quite ambitious, and we looked for producers of this bicycle, and we found out that this is not really an easy job, because in Europe there was nobody who was able to produce such a complicated bicycle frame with a suspension made out of aluminium and so on. And then 1 year later, on the Eurobike show 1994, Eurobike is the biggest bicycle show in Europe, at least, maybe even worldwide. And we had a little booth there on the show, and suddenly a guy from Taiwan came, called George Lin. I think you also know him, the old Lin. And he came on our booth, and he said, he looked at that bike, and then he asked us to join him, and he told us, well, guys, I want to build this bicycle.
Cool.
And this was really cool, and we actually, this was the first time we talked to an Asian guy, to be honest. I mean, it was 1994. The world was much smaller. There was no internet to check the supplier immediately. I mean, we had no idea who this guy is, what he's doing, and stuff like that. So he explained us, well, he has a company in Taiwan. They are producing full suspension mountain bikes for all well-known brands in the world, and we thought, well, that might be interesting, because he might have the knowledge to do a frame like that. And then he told us, well, his motivation to do that is that he has customers in Japan which are looking for a high-quality folding bike. And the interesting thing is, in Japan they have no space to put their bike somewhere. They have no garage, nothing. They have to store their bikes in their apartments, and the apartments in Tokyo, for example, are really small. So they said these guys need a high quality folding bike, and this is something which is not available on the market, at least in the 90s, beginning of the 90s. And then we said, okay, that sounds interesting. And Marcus, my partner, he just booked a flight ticket to Taiwan together with George. So when George was going back, Marcus was just joining him. He also took his old suitcase again, put our prototype in, and went to Taiwan with this prototype. And then within 2 weeks, actually, they really made a a very nice looking new prototype of the Birdy, which was really ready to show it on a bicycle show. Actually, our prototypes, which we've shown before, if you look on these bicycles now, you would say these guys are really crazy. How can they show such a frame on a show? But I mean, yeah, we've been students, so and then they made a really nice prototype, and just 2 weeks later there was another bicycle show in Germany that was the IFMA, which is not on the market anymore. And then we've shown this nice prototype in 1994, right? And suddenly everybody was interested in this bike. We got visits from bike dealers, from the press, from just everybody, and we even got the first orders. We made a little brochure, which was very ambitious because we calculated prices without any idea what that bike should cost, but anyhow. And we received orders and so on. So we thought, okay, that's it. We will go for this producer, and we will buy a first container of bikes. And then actually in the middle of 1995, we really started to be an international brand, because George from Pacific Cycles produced 3 containers. One went to Japan, one went to the US in these days already, and one went to Germany. So actually we had a start of the Birdy in 3 continents from the beginning on, and this was really a lucky thing. And actually this influenced the DNA of our company, because being an international company was something which started from the very first production of our first model. Yeah, this was 1995, and then in the following years we have been thinking about what is the future of our company. Should we stay on a folding bike, or should we do more models? And the thing which was really interesting for us was the full suspension.
Yeah.
So rear suspension, front suspension. As an engineer, we were very sure that a full suspension bike is just what you need on a street. Yeah. There's nothing else. And for us, we were riding full suspension mountain bikes during this time. We were riding the Birdy, of course, and our idea was to bring the full suspension into the city. We were thinking of bikes which you can use in the inner city, and where you have all the advantages of a full suspension system, but in the city you need some more than on a full suspension mountain bike. You need a carrier, a rack, you need some fenders, stuff like that, and you need a deep step over height, because you just want to get on your bike very easily. So actually then we developed a bicycle called Culture, which is still on the market. I don't think you have one here. Yeah, it's quite similar to the Homage, which we have here. Of course, during these days we didn't have the engine on it. It was just a standard bicycle, but it has a full suspension rear swing arm, a full suspension front fork, and actually everything you needed in the city. So actually in these days our company really brought the full suspension into the city, which was something completely new. So in the next years, between 1997-8 to 2006, 2008, during these 10 years we developed different full suspension bicycle concepts and brought them on the market. And actually our bicycles always have been niche products during these days. I mean, smaller quantities, quite expensive, very special designs, and so on. And then actually the first electric bicycles came on the market in the years of 2005, 2006. And we were looking at these bikes and we thought, well, electric bikes, that seems to be quite interesting, but the bikes which have been on the market all looked the same. They have been bikes with a very low step over height. They have been kind of silver, very conservative color, and have been made for people in an age of 70 or 80 or something like that. So these bikes have been made for people who were not able to ride a normal bicycle anymore. That was actually the target group for all electric bikes on the market in the years of 2005, 2006. And we thought about the electric bike and we thought there's a totally other target group for us. And our idea was to have electric bikes which can bring people out of their cars back on bikes or back on electric bikes, and not, and we didn't want to have these older people who were just not be able to ride their standard bike anymore. This was our idea, and then we made a first collection of e-bikes which we brought on the market in 2008, and we had actually 3 different models. We had one electric Birdy, and then we had 2 other electric bikes, and one of them was the Delight, which is still on the market. This is the Delight, and actually in 2008 when it came on the market, it already had this an engine with 45 kilometers an hour, which is 28 miles per hour.
Yeah.
So this was a high-speed bike.
Wow.
And this actually had nothing to do with a bicycle for older people. Yeah, it was really something. Yeah, and you just had to have some experience with bicycling. Otherwise, this is not the right bike for you. And when we brought these bikes on the market, most of the people, or even most of the bicycle dealers and the press, they looked on these bicycles and they said, guys, these bicycles you will not sell at all. Yeah, this is a completely wrong target group. And we said, well, let's see. Yeah, let's see what happens, because we were really convinced that this is the future of electric bike, and not these old-fashioned bikes which have been sold by other companies. Well, and then in the first 1 or 2 years it was really not that easy, but from year to year the target groups became younger, and this was interesting to see that actually from year to year the target group even became younger for maybe 10 years in the first years. And so now our target group starts at an age of maybe 30. And something changed in the market. I mean, of course we have not been the only company which focused on younger people, but I think we've been the first one who did that. And the electric bike became much more famous in at least in Germany or in countries like the Netherlands and so on. And something happened. Yeah, the people just tried out the bicycles. They came back from a test ride and they were smiling and said, "Oh, it's so great to sit on a bicycle like that and stuff." So something happened during these years, and and I think now the situation is that everybody who's trying out an electric bike would say, okay, maybe I'm not buying it immediately, but this is definitely a concept which is interesting and which might be something for me, maybe not this year, but maybe within the next 2 or 3 years and stuff like that. So there's really a big change of the use of electric bikes. So I think that's a big chance for commuting and so on in the next years.
Cool.
And actually in Germany already 15% of all sold bikes are electric bikes. In the Netherlands, for example, already 30% of all sold bikes are electric bikes.
Wow.
And I think in the US we are a little behind that.
1%, yeah.
Yeah.
Woo! And they're all right here in this room, right?
But I mean, I think 5 or 6 years ago in Germany it was also 1%. So I think things are changing, and the interesting thing is in the US people are not thinking of exchanging their bike to an electric bike. People are coming from a car, and they want to leave their car and want to ride the electric bike, and that's something totally different to Europe. And I think that's a big chance. That's a big chance for the market. That you don't have to fight against the bike, you have to fight against the car maybe. Yeah. So I think that's the big chance, and I think that makes things easier. Even price-wise, I mean, if you sell a bicycle for $5,000, if you have your bike in mind, which maybe costed 500 bucks, it's a lot more expensive. But if you think of your car, which is 50,000, then 5,000 is not so much.
Sure.
So that's the big chance for the electric bike in the US. Yeah. So I think there's a big future of these bikes or this transportation in the next years. Yeah. So I would like to explain you some of our bikes. Maybe I start with the Elite, which I already mentioned. Actually, the Elite is our top of the range bike, and all of our knowledge is actually put in this bike. I start with a full suspension. You see, you have a full suspension swing arm, which is really comfortable on bad roads, and even in New York I saw the streets are not that well as I expected. So I think full suspension is really a good thing. Of course, you have a soft front fork, and then you see a carbon belt drive, which is also really perfect for an electric bike. It's much cleaner than a standard chain. You don't have the oil on your trousers and stuff, and it's combined with a rear hub, and this is actually a Novinci hub, which is a product from America, by the way.
Cool.
And it's how's it called? Seamless.
Continuously variable.
How do you call it?
Continuously variable transmission.
Okay, continuous.
You got it.
Continuously variable transmission. Yeah.
Okay, which means you don't have a certain number of gears. You just have a continuous changing of the gear just by turning the lever. That's very comfortable. You can even shift it if you stand still. You don't have to ride. And it's just the perfect combination to the Bosch engine. Which brings me to the next point. We are only using Bosch engines, and actually there are a lot of reasons why we do so. First of all, Bosch, in my opinion, is the highest quality of engine which you can get on the market. It's just working. You don't have a lot of stress with warranty issues or stuff like that. It's working, and you have a worldwide service. So even if you are somewhere on a tour, you will always find somebody who can repair it and stuff. So that really works well. Yeah. Do you have other arguments for Bosch? Maybe. It's a very well-known brand.
I can attest to the no issues and having issues with other systems, and why 80-90% of the bikes in our store are Bosch. So that's our choice. So I definitely agree with those sentiments, and you've had some of your own experiences with some other systems that didn't work so well.
That's right.
And it's a big investment, so it's like something that you know, just like a car, as we're explaining, you're replacing your car, you need to depend on it on a day-to-day and not have to think about it or worry about it. You know, you wake up in the morning, if you're getting into a car, I mean, I don't own a car, but when I did, I want to know that I can start it and I'm not going to worry about it. And that's the same way I feel about this system, and not so much about some of the others.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, when we started in 2008, there was no Bosch on the market. Bosch came in 2011. So we had two other systems. These names I won't tell you tonight, but we just had some problems with these systems, and it was really hard to to run these systems on the street. I mean, always customers came back to the bicycle shops with problems and so on. And this was, of course, a very bad situation. And then in 2011, Bosch came up with their own system, and from the beginning on, it just worked, and it worked well, and they had a nice service and everything. So we decided, okay, we go for Bosch. And actually, 1 year later, in 2012, we saw that there's such a big potential for e-bikes, especially in combination with Bosch, that we decided to discontinue all other bicycles in production and just concentrate on e-bikes. Only the Birdy, which is something else, this is still in production, so this is even the only non-electric bike in your shop.
That's right, that's right.
Right, because the Birdy it's also kind of part of transportation, very special product where you really do not need an electric engine in it. But for all other kind of bicycles, I think e-bikes are just the product, which is perfect. So we decided just to go for electric bikes in 2012, and this was actually quite a consequent story to just to focus on these products. And actually, this was in 2012. This was really discussed. How to say? I mean, even in our company, a lot of our workers, they said, "Well, are you crazy just to cut off all the other bicycles and just go for a new technology? We have no idea how this will be going on in the next years and so on." And even and of course our customers, which are basically bike shops, they said, well, we are selling your standard bicycles in some quantities, not really many, but we are selling them. How can you discontinue that? And I said, okay, that might be that we are selling these bicycles now, but I'm very sure that in maybe 1 or 2 years, nobody will ask for high quality full suspension bikes without an engine. So I said, I don't want to spend any money in the development of new models without an engine. I will just concentrate our full power, our complete money, all we have, our brain. I will just focus it on e-bikes, and it was a very consequent decision, but I think it was just the right decision, because I'm very sure if you not concentrate on something, you will just lose. You have no chance to get a really strong market position. So this was, I think, if I'm looking on this decision now, it looks so easy and so right, but in these days it was, it caused a big discussion everywhere. But okay, we did that, and now we are quite happy to do so. So this is the Delight. There's another technology in this bike, which is the dual battery technology. So you see there are 2 batteries in here. Most of the e-bikes only have 1 battery. And basically, you have a bigger range, because you have a capacity of 1,000 watt hours instead of 500 watt hours, which means you have the double range of your bike. And actually Bosch developed this dual battery technology, and we from Riese Müller we integrated these 2 batteries perfectly into into the frames of 4 different bicycle models. So one of these models is the Delight, which is especially made for a dual battery. So it's basically standard that you have 2 batteries in here. Then we have the Charger. Do you have a charger here?
Yeah.
Yeah, this one, which is also.
You're fine.
Which is also available with the dual battery technology. So this has only 1 battery, but if you order the dual battery option, you get a second battery instead of this cup holder here. So you have the second battery here. So you also have a range of around 100 miles, which you can go with both batteries. Yeah, and then we also have this option for our 2 front loader bikes. One of them is the Paxter, which you see here, carrying the pretzel, and the second one is the Load over there. And yeah, actually, these cargo bikes, for me, cargo bikes is actually the next big thing of electric bikes, because for me it's not a cargo bike, it's just a standard bike, because I mean, every car, every little car has the possibility to put some stuff in, but on a standard bicycle it's not that easy. So I think a cargo bike like the Load or the Paxter, it's just the standard bike of the future, because you have the flexibility to put your kids in, to put yeah, maybe 2 boxes of beer in, whatever you have to transport, and you just have the flexibility not to think, okay, I have to pick up something today, so I might need my car or stuff like that. You can just go, and you have all chances to put in whatever you have to put in. So for example, myself, in the past, when I was just using standard bicycles, 1 or 2 times a week I was taking my car to work, because I had to buy some stuff, had to transport something, had to take my kids somewhere. So I was always thinking, okay, do I have to take the car today? And unfortunately I have, because I don't really like using my car in the city. So now I'm using a front loader, and since I changed, I never use my car in the city anymore. Really never. And yeah, because you just have the flexibility to do everything what you want with a cargo bike. So for me, this is really the bike of the future. Yeah.
Cool.
I don't know how it is in New York or in America. Maybe you tell me something about your experience.
I mean, yeah, it's a bike with a trunk, basically. And you know, I recently, well, Marissa and I got rid of our cars, and you know, and when I need to go, you know, grocery shopping or do laundry or whatever the case may be, I use the cargo bike, and that's it, you know. And otherwise, I mean, and as you're explaining with the Birdy, you know, sometimes I need something lighter weight, and it's like, you know, I live very close to here, but I want something I can carry up the stairs into my apartment and not worry about it. That's what I do. So there's definitely tools for different jobs, and you know, I'm grateful that I don't have to really use the car, because we have tools available, thanks, you know, to you, and you know, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, so we will see what happens with the cargo bikes, but that's also interesting. Even in the US, the number of e-bikes is smaller, of course, than in Europe, but the percentage of the cargo bikes, it's much higher than in Europe. And I think the Americans, they have understood that this is really big chance for the future, and that the cargo bikes gives you much more opportunities for transportation, for whatever. So
Cool.
I think that's really a cool thing. Yeah, and I'm really looking forward to the next years. So we will see what happens. Yeah. Yeah. Do you have more questions about whatever e-bikes?
Yeah, Heiko, we were talking about the Birdy and how small it is, and you mentioned the small apartments in Japan, and I was just thinking like, yeah, in Brooklyn, some people have some small apartments, so I could see that being popular. Do you still make the electric version of the Birdy?
No, actually, we don't do the electric version anymore. The reason is, I think a folding bike should be very light, because you just take it, you put it to your apartment. You want to have a really light bike, and you usually use it for rather short distances, like maybe 1 or 2 miles.
Right.
And for this use, it makes sense to have a standard bicycle without electric, which is of course much lighter. So the Birdy is around 22 pounds, something like that. So it's really light to take it with you. So. Yeah, actually, we just didn't sell big quantities of the electric Birdy because people decided to have a folding bike or an electric bike, but not both.
Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you for your giving us your feedback.
Yeah.
The other thing that's unique about your bikes is there are so many models and SKUs. So you have like this bike that comes in different colors, different sizes, 2 batteries, 1 battery. There's really a lot of options. And Chris was telling me that there's it's sort of a build to suit model. Can you just talk about that and how it works if people were interested?
Actually, we have around 12 different bike lines, and each line is perfect for a special kind of user. For example, this is a bike the Delight is a bike for people who do some tours, serious riding, bigger distances and so on, and want a more sportive riding position. Then we have bikes like, for example, the Nebo, which is perfect for the city because you have a low step over height. It's very comfortable, a more upright riding position. So actually each bike has a special look, a special feature. So you're right, we have a lot of different models, but we think that if you really want to have fun on your bike, it's necessary that it perfectly fits to your demand. So we have a wide range of different options which just fit perfectly to any rider.
Well, maybe I mean the build to order, because it sounds like
build to order, so actually, if you have decided for one special model, then the next decision is the frame size, of course, which is very important that it fits to you, and then you can decide the color, some options, and then actually all bikes are made on order, which means in our factory we are just producing ordered bikes. We are not producing on stock. Each bike which we are producing is for a certain customer, which means that takes a few weeks, right? But in the end, it's just the bike which is made for you.
And has that been working in the United States? Because we're a little further than some of the European friends.
That's right, but the only difference is that the shipping needs some more time.
Just a little extra.
But the process is basically the same. So in our company we have 200 workers, and half of them are working in the production line. So each bike is really made, produced very carefully, on demand.
Cool.
Shipped to the customers. Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you.
Yeah. Any more questions?
I tried to find out that you just explained to us about the silicone chain instead of using a metal chain.
Yeah.
But as far as I look at your other brand, they're showing with the one equipped with the metal chain. So what's the difference between your concept saying that you are saying this one's more advanced in the technologically and then the smooth to ride? But is this like your earlier version of your bike? Is that how it works?
No, it's. I think. Even a chain has, for some people, has the right to exist, because chain is still the most efficient way of bringing the power on the rear wheel. And if you really want to go for the maximum efficiency, then the chain with the standard derailleur is still the best system. But this system really has to be maintained very well. So you have to take care about it. You have to put oil on the chain. You have to change the components like the sprocket from time to time. You have to change the chain. So actually the customer has to decide, does he want to have the low maintenance bike, which definitely would be the belt drive in combination with the Novinci hub, or does he want to have the maximum efficiency? But on an e-bike, the efficiency is not the big thing, because as you have the engine, as you have the battery, this compensates the little less efficiency. Sure. So if you ride on the bike, you will not feel that something is missing. Yeah, the chain might have little longer range on a really long tour, but I mean, if you have a dual battery technology, that really doesn't make such a big difference.
And in order to get the belt drive on, you have these specially engineered frames. So you see the chainstay is actually above the belt versus the Charger. I guess it's the same situation, but a lot of these bikes with chains, you can link the chain and you don't have to cut the frame. So to get a belt on, you can't join a belt. So it needs a specific frame design. So the Delight is actually a really good example of that, where you have a full suspension bike with a belt drive. That's one of the only ones I've seen.
Yeah, that's actually, it's really a very special system, because you see you have this this little wheel here. And actually, even if the system suspends, because of this position of this wheel, the length of the belt is always the same. It doesn't change.
Yeah.
Even you have a working suspension system. So this is really something very special. And the position of this wheel, to find the perfect position of this wheel was little more work than you would expect, to be honest. Yeah.
It's a great question, and that belt is like carbon. It's a really stiff belt, so it's supposed to be very efficient.
Mileage-wise, which one lasts longer?
Yeah, the belt would last longer, much longer. Yeah.
It's like in your engine, I guess, timing belt. It's a very similar technology.
That's right.
They're very
the same technology. Yeah. So the chain you might. You might have to change the chain after 1,000 miles, and a belt, I think, would go for 5,000 miles, no problem. Mm-hmm. So it's really a big difference.
The trade-off a lot of times, though, sorry to cut you off, with the sprockets and the derailleur, they tend to be lighter. Versus that hub actually has like oil inside of it to help reduce the friction, and then it's sort of like a non-Newtonian fluid that it actually condenses a little bit as it rotates inside there's the orbs in there. It's complicated, but it adds weight. And so that's one of the downsides. Like, you can shift it, stand still, it's clean, it's not going to get damaged like a derailleur, but it's heavier too. So
yeah, but I mean,
that's why you have a motor.
Yeah, right.
Weight on an electric bike is really not the big story anymore.
Right.
Yeah, for sure. So actually, if it's 70 pounds or 68 pounds, that makes no difference if you ride it.
Yeah, awesome.
How often do you have to give it an oil change?
An oil change? Maybe Chris, do you know that? How
Novinci?
How often do you need an oil change on a Novinci?
No, it does not require it at all. The roll-off is required every so often, but the Novinci doesn't require any fluid change. Yeah. Over time, you might need the sprocket or something like that, but that's it. And the cables.
Is there any maintenance in the motor that's required?
Actually, there's not much to do, because it's completely inside and maintenance free, basically. Yeah, I think you don't have much trouble with engines, have you?
We haven't had one engine failure. So.
No.
And how long have you been around, Chris?
Yeah, we haven't had one failure, and I mean, in I guess 3 years that Bosch has been here, we've been selling them, and
cool.
we haven't had one failure. So. you know, it's pretty astonishing actually. But I guess the thing with the Bosch motor and why it's so reliable, it's actually a design that originated over 100 years ago, and they kind of have iterated on it. It's a starter motor from you might find in kind of higher end cars like Mercedes and that sort of thing. So pretty cool.
Warranty for the first year, and one is investing that much?
Yeah, there's a warranty for 2 years. So, and for the frame, it's even longer. I think it's 5 years.
Yep.
Yeah, 5 years on the frame. So, and 2 years on all other components. Yeah.
Are you still friends with your co-founder? You guys hanging out and keeping the dream alive?
Yeah, we are not hanging out so much in our free time, to be honest, because I mean we are working together all day.
Yeah.
We used to be friends and doing everything together when we've been students. But then we are working now. We are working together. Everybody has his family. There's not so much time.
Well, you brought your family into the business, right?
That's right. So my wife is, who's also here. Yeah. She's also managing director now of our company.
Cool.
So,
very cool.
You want to say something?
All set?
Well, I have a quick question actually. So what does day to day look like for you and look like for Marcus, you know, in the organization these days?
Okay, these days we are 3 persons in the CEO position. So it's Sandra, Marcus, and me. And
Cool.
Marcus is taking care for all the R&D stuff. So he's kind of the totally in technique, doing nothing else than developing new products, stuff like that. And actually Sandra is responsible for the growing strategy, or how to say?
So I do a lot of growth work, like because we are growing that fast. We had growth rates of 50% each year over the last 5 years. So we have a lot of new stuff, a lot of new countries, and my work is also to bring in the new stuff, to be on the Riese Müller DNA, and to really bring what Marcus and Heiko built in the past to the future, and also bring the brand to other countries. Like I'm responsible that the brand is the same in each country worldwide. We are also heading towards Australia and New Zealand.
Cool.
All the countries where we see people like Chris that are really, I said it before, ambassadors of e-mobility, and this is where we are heading to. We are not a bike manufacturer anymore. We want to bring this product and this lifestyle and this feeling to the world, not only to the US, and that is our mission, which is, I think, really a great mission, because you meet great people, and you can be part of something bigger than just producing a product. And I think that started with the Birdy, which already was a mobility concept for a specific mobility problem or challenge, and also the e-bike is a type of new mobility that will, at least I think, change the world. So I do a lot of future work, trending, and human resources, sometimes also boring stuff that goes together with a growing company, is like just doing paperwork and working with banks, but also traveling, which is great. And Heiko's job is all the rest.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking that the daily business is running. Of course, this is one big part of my job. I also have my visions. I think I'm kind of the guy who have the visions bringing to the company, like the story with cutting off the non-electric bikes, things like that. This is my job.
Cool.
Pushing everybody to do a better job than yesterday, stuff like that. So,
can you tell us, with all your new exciting products you have, what is typical bike sales in the United States with the various models versus, let's say, some of the other major countries in the world, the Netherlands, Germany, England, Australia, even maybe the Far East?
The differences or the same?
What are the sales like? Can you tell us, like, what are the sales in the United? How many bikes do you sell average a month here or a
Okay.
year
Yeah.
versus some of the other countries? All these nice products.
Yep.
Yeah, well, what I already mentioned, it's interesting that the cargo bikes are more important in the US. That's the biggest difference which we see. I mean, we are not so long on the market here. I mean, basically the first bikes arrived here in November, December.
yeah.
So it's just one winter. So actually, it's really starting now. I mean, we sold some bikes throughout the winter, but it's now starting. And we will see how things are turning out to be. Yeah, but it's really interesting that we already able to learn a lot from America. Maybe you can tell something about use of social media, for example, which is much more
I think the big
advanced.
difference is what you said before, that whereas in Europe a lot of countries are coming from the bicycle tradition. We have a long and very in-depth bicycle tradition in Europe, especially in Germany or in the Netherlands, and so it's very much into us to ride a bike. You know, every child is really into cycling. And so we struggle a lot in Europe with people, what you said before, not a bike but an e-bike. And in the US it's completely different, because you're coming, as far as I analyze it, you're coming more from a car nation, and you're coming not from the bicycle, and so this is a substitution to your car, and this makes it maybe easier for us to get into a certain lifestyle and not struggling with a too old target group, and making the e-bike really a young product, which really changes the mobility style. But I understood your question that you are interested in figures also, like how many bikes
Percentages
we like percentage. Our biggest market is still Germany, followed by the Netherlands. A lot of bikes are now sold in Norway and Sweden, because they also have the government is also paying a lot for people riding an e-bike, which helps us a lot.
Cool.
Cities like Munich, or especially Munich, are helping us because they give money to people who ride an e-bike.
Well, do they do that to keep the roads less crowded, or because
The roads less crowded, to be positioned more like a
Green tech?
green country
Sustainable.
or green city.
Cool.
Many reasons, yeah.
So Germany
Good
has
for
a
them.
tax break.
In Germany, there's no support for e-bikes at all.
No.
But cities like Munich.
Yeah,
have it,
Munich.
like-
Oh, I
Munich
see.
is
Towns,
yeah.
local.
This is the town of Munich.
I see.
They said we wanna have more e-bikes, especially cargo e-bikes on the
Because
street.
I think in Germany they just started doing subsidies on electric cars
Yeah.
just recently. But
a
other
lot
some of the
car brands are
Scandinavian
Oh, yeah.
Scandinavian countries, they have like huge subsidies.
Yeah.
Do they have them on for
Yeah,
bicycles
yeah.
as well?
For example, Norway. I mean, they
Norway is huge.
they have no tax on electric cars,
Right.
and on standard cars they have, I think, 50% tax plus VAT, which basically means that an electric car is only half price.
Right. Yeah.
So that's
Wow.
and they have now 30% of electric cars of new cars. 30% of new cars are electric cars. So I think Tesla, for example, has its biggest market outside of the US is in Norway.
Yeah,
Wow.
I think it might be higher than 30%.
Yeah.
electric cars in your future, Heiko?
Well, I like electric cars, even I don't have one yet. We just talked about that because this guy is driving a BMW E3, and we were talking about. I like electric cars, but I think a lot of problems are not solved by electric cars. I mean, all these problems of too much traffic, too much space,
Parking. Yeah.
parking, all these problems are not solved by electric cars.
Social too. Just
Yeah.
being.
Social problems, right? So, of course, it's a step forward to have an electric car, but I think the bigger step is to have an electric bike. Yeah.
Cool. Very cool.
I have one important question.
Yeah.
Who picks the colors?
Yeah.
That's a question.
Hey, look at this.
Who picks the colors? Well, that's a big discussion, huge discussion every year.
Oh.
Colors, of course. Do you like the colors?
I think you guys do a lovely job with the colors.
The colors are great.
Yeah.
I mean, we are one of the brands who's not doing any kind of decals. So we're not over, I mean, Moustache the same, but we are others like, this is the typical mountain bike design. You have double colors, 3 colors, you have big logos. We're not doing that at all. So we are really limited. And we usually, our development team is developing a foundation of colors, and then we have a larger team that is collecting the colors. We always have standard colors because, for example, in many countries, the red is really working well. We know that because of the sales rates, and then we always have highlight colors like the blue or like the solar orange, which we don't have with a D-light, which is a specific color in Europe, is one of our highlight communication colors, and that's how we work. But we stay with a basic understatement color line.
Well, on that point, Chris and I were talking about colors the other day. We were looking at the bikes, and this one right here is this the Charger Mixty that we're looking at? Yeah, and it has like white, and then there's black on the seat tube. So that was like, oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's kind of the same like with the Nevo.
Yeah, it's like just kind of.
Actually, the idea is to give more focus on the main. On the main form of the frame, is it the right word? Okay. Yeah, you know. For example, on the Nevo, you see the idea of the frame is really this big down tube and the stay, you know. And if we choose the colors, we are focusing on this line, you know. Yeah. And this is actually, that's a kind of one level deeper function-wise. Yeah. So we bring that this part we bring down by using this matte black and focusing on the red main form of the frame. So
that's
this
cool.
is kind of the idea behind it, and it's the same on the Charger. Actually, on the Mixty frame, it's not that obvious, but on the standard frame, you see that you have this the form of the main frame, which is focused by the color and the black seat post.
And these accents, we know Salt. I don't know if that's a German brand or not, but
it's an American brand.
It's an American brand. Yeah. My goodness, what have I done? Cool.
Yeah.
Good question, Chris.
Yeah, we are thinking so much about every detail. I think that's something which is special in our company. We so much brain work in every detail.
So I have other question real quick. So what bikes do you guys ride personally?
I ride a load, a wide load.
Oh.
And 45 kilometers is
28 miles an hour.
20, so a fast one.
Wow.
Which I really love. Heiko,
With the derailleur or New Vinci?
With a derailleur. Yeah, I don't like New Vinci.
She's got the touring. No efficiency lost. Right, German, right here.
That's it. Yeah. Actually, in the moment, I mean, I'm changing from time to time because I want to.
You're testing.
I'm testing. Kind of testing. Actually, my favorite is also the load. In the moment, I'm using the Paxter 80, which is the long version with a big box on it, and that's really a cool bike because you have so much space. That's really.
They said you did everything else, so that means getting lunch with the like bringing back all that food with that big box on the front.
Not so often.
Not so much.
Because the load of my wife has so much space to put.
Oh, kicking it to her bucket. Both cargo bikes. That's awesome.
Yeah, we are only using cargo bikes for 2 years now. We are
studying the American market, I see.
Yeah.
Right?
No, but to me, before I rode an Homage like this one, and it was finally stolen.
Oh no!
Yeah. From our garden actually. That was really a pity, but
Oh.
and then I changed to the load, and ever since I ride a load, I ride much more than I ride with the Homage, because it solved all my package, my how would you say, all my
Utilitarian needs?
yeah,
Space
even
needs, yeah.
like a handbag, because I'm a woman, I love handbags, and I hate to put them in like an outlet bag, like in a
Yeah, panniers.
yeah, because I hate that. You know, I buy a good handbag and then I have to put it somewhere. I hate that.
Yeah.
And there were so many reasons why I don't ride the bike. You know, because of the big handbag, because of the kids, because of the huge grocery, whatever. And ever since I ride a load, there's hardly a reason not to ride a bike.
Huh.
Because I just love the full suspension. It really makes a difference. The full suspension system, the riding it's more safe, and that's actually the biggest advantage. It's not the comfort. It's the safety. It's really the safety, because you always have perfect contact to the road in each situation, and that's really the big difference. So I personally really prefer full suspension bicycles.
Okay. And you have helmets, I'm sure, and lights,
Of
and
course.
any other
All that
tips
stuff.
on safety from?
Yeah,
So-
I mean we are really using powerful lighting systems. That's important. For example, on the D light we have the IQX from Busch and Müller, which is also a German brand. Müller, same name like my one, but
You guys
Müller is
friends?
actually one of the most common names in Germany. So that's nothing special. Well, this is really powerful. I mean, I can show you. Don't directly look into this light.
It's got the side
Bulb
bends
is in
too.
there. What kind of bulb is that?
Probably an LED.
What kind of what?
Bulb?
LED.
Halogen? Is it
Uh,
LED? What?
It's LED. It's an LED light, right? Very powerful LED light. Yeah. So, yeah, we are really only using components which are for perfect everyday use. Yeah, that's important.
That's great.
And we are not specifying our bikes for any price points. You know, that's maybe a big difference between us and other companies. Other companies, I know product managers of many companies, and if they are designing or specifying bikes, they have price points in the beginning, and then they try to fit these price points.
Yeah.
And we are working the other way around. We are just specifying the bikes according to what we think are the best components for a special user, which we have in mind, and then we are calculating the price, and that's it.
Cool.
And that's, yeah, I think that works, because we made the experience that the users, they are willing to pay for what they really need. And if you use a better part on it and it's more expensive, then it's accepted, and you don't have to argue.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Heiko. I really appreciate it, and thank you, Heiko and Sandra, for coming, as well as Court, and for all the guests coming. And we certainly really appreciate it, and we're very excited about the future of this brand in the U.S. and the future of electric bikes, and certainly what better way to present it from a quality brand like Riese Müller. And so thank you for answering after all my begging, and hopefully.
Yeah.
So thank you so much.
And thank you to Propel for hosting this event. And I think people can stick around and ask more questions one-on-one, eat some pretzels and stuff. This goes till 9, right? I don't know if are we?
Yeah.
What time is it?
I mean, we are like.
My battery's running out.
California has
So I'll see you later.
regulation. It's depending on the state.